Hey, all you cool cats. Ready for a little fun? That's what I thought. Pop Talk, Scooby-Doo-Wah-Doo-Wah, Pop Talk. The fun never stops, you know. Pop Talk. If you're a nerd or a jock, run, don't just walk. Get ready to rock, you got Pop Talk.
Now, from Funko Hollywood, it's time for Pop Talk.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first standing interview of Pop Talk. You guys, it's Kevin Smith!
That's right, I'm the stander. They call me Kevin Smith, the stand. You know, Stephen King was like, that ain't yours, that's mine. I was like, whatever, King, you got enough. And I called him King, and probably shouldn't have done that. Also gives me a chance to showcase my collection.
This amazing collection. Tell us about this.
Look at all these Pops kids. Now, people ask me all the time, do you collect Funko Pops? I said, I sure do. Very rarefied cross-section of Funko Pops. Kevin Smith only, ladies and gentlemen. So this is a big deal to me. Honestly, and I'm not just saying this because we're here, I also know as somebody who with his finger on the pulse of pop culture, that's the only way I've made a living for like 30 years and stuff. You can't be in the pop culture game unless you've been popped at least once. Now, there are a lot of people in my business way more famous than me, legit celebrities. And one of their initial questions would be like, how do I get a Funko Pop made of me?
Wow.
I'm telling you, it is a standard bearer for pop culture celebrity. I do a show called Wake and Bake on my That Kevin Smith Club every morning. What you see behind me is a wall of these Pops. Yes. So people are always like, oh my God, you love Pops? I was like, I absolutely do, but if you look very closely, it's gross because they're all me. It's a sea of me. But the only thing beyond this that says to me that I've made it more than this many Pops of myself is me and Jason Mewes, the guy who plays Jade in My Silent Bob, over at the Grauman's Chinese Theater, the TCL Chinese Theater right down the street. Back in 2019 for Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, we got to put our hands and our feet into the cement. And I remember my father and my mom took me and my brother and sister to Los Angeles when I was like 9 years old, took a train trip cross country. And I wanted to go to the Chinese Theater because that's where they had just done the stars of Star Wars put their footprints in the cement. So R2-D2, C-3PO, Darth Vader. So my dad was like, look, the fat one likes movies, let's go to Hollywood. And my father was showing me around that day, he's going, that's Jimmy Durante, he's got the big nose, he put it in the cement. There's this one and stuff. But I remember plain as day, man, he goes, and I don't think he was being prophetic or profound. I think he just said something that you say to a kid. Like the way some kids like baseball, they'd be like, maybe he'll play for the Yankees one day or some crap to say to a child. My old man says to me, he goes, maybe you'll be here one day. And then 40 years later, we were there putting our hand and footprints in the cement. But this is the second most important thing that has ever happened to me pop culturally. So it's the footprints in the Chinese and then my pop library. Look at all these Pops of one mediocre man. Should we get rid of this and start making Pops?
Yeah, we can move on to the next phase here.
So what's the idea here? I just make a Pop while you talk?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you super easy questions.
This is going to be the most exclusive Pop in the world, man. And now you're also going to see how artistically not gifted I am. When I put together my own Pop, people, I bet you they'll judge it. People are going to be like, ew. So I get judged for everything. You watch, I'm going to make this Pop, and whoever watches the show is going to be like, ugh. It's the yoga hosers of Pops.
Okay, first question.
Okay.
Well, the question is, do you collect anything? And obviously you do, because you have that huge collection that we see behind you whenever you're filming at home, right?
A very self-centered collection. When I was a kid, I was a big Star Wars collector. So I remember when I went to Skywalker Ranch to mix one of our movies for the first time, because they've got this whole sound world set up there that you mix movies at. I'm sitting on this chair and I was like, oh my God, with all the Star Wars toys that my parents bought when I was a kid, we probably paid for this chair. I thought about taking it home, but I didn't, because Star Wars teaches us anything. Well, don't steal is not one of the rules, but be good is one of them, and stealing seems like a Vader thing, so.
Your collection of comic books, did you sell that to raise money for Clerks?
I did. I had a big collection of comic books that I did a valuation on that was about, look at this Cyclops body, kind of. that, you know, I think it was about 25 grand for the whole collection. I didn't have any golden or silver age, but if I'd sold it like, you know, for value of what the price guide said they were worth, it's about a $25,000 collection. I put it together as a $10,000 collection and tried to sell that, and I couldn't even get that. But there was one comic book store called Comics Plus, and what they did was offer me $2,000 store credit.
Oh man.
So it didn't work out too bad. What my friend Walter was still buying comics, so he would go in, spend the credit, and for every $100 that he spent in credit, he'd give me 80. So he was making a deal each time and stuff, and allowed me to pay off the bare minimums of my credit cards, because that's what I was needed to do. You know, I loved collecting my comic books, but at a certain point, it was like, you could either have a pristine comic book collection, or you could make your first film, and I went the other way. Panned out, because it eventually got me 2 giant Funko Pops of my own.
Yeah, there you go. So you've created a lot of characters. Which character is the most interesting to you?
Which character of mine that I've created? Certainly not Silent Bob. That's the character I play, and he doesn't talk. He's not interesting at all. But I can play that part because I don't have to learn any dialogue.
Right,
So
right.
it's great for a lazy actor like myself. I honestly think Randall is the most interesting. He's the guy who was the video store clerk in Clerks.
Okay.
And he's, you know, featured very prominently, and we just shot Clerks 3 that comes out this fall. And I went back to Clerks, back to the well, because I wanted to play with that character and explore where that character had gotten by the end of Clerks 2. Like, you know, he was always the snarky, flippant guy, but by the end of Clerks 2, you started to see some vestiges of a soul beyond the glib. You know, the dude cared about things. And I was like, here's a guy, you know, the angry young man, the dude least likely to treat anything seriously, finally showing you that he cares. Like, I want to spend another 90 minutes with that. Like, just as we got to that point with him at the end of Clerks 2, the movie was over.
Please, man, don't leave me.
So for years I wanted to kind of re-explore, and I got to, and I used the heart attack that I had a few years ago as the fuel for Clerks 3. Randall has my heart attack, and he's in the hospital, and they save his life, and he's like, you know, I've wasted my life sitting around watching movies. So, you know, now that I've almost died, I got nothing to lose. I'm gonna make a movie about my life working at the convenience store, and you're gonna help me. So Dante and Randall make Clerks. So we spend that movie remaking the movie that we made in real life years ago. We let our characters make it this time. So all summer long, it was like just the nostalgia snake eating its own tail, because we were literally reframing shots that we had done 30 years ago, like for the very first time when we made Clerks. We'd pull it up on HBO Max on a phone and then pause it and then hang it right next to the camera and be like, all right, move in to the left.
Yeah.
Go a little bit, all right, stand there, don't move. And then be like, all right, we're there, shoot this.
Gosh,
it was fun, it was a lot of
fans are
fun.
going to lose it.
I hope so.
Yeah, definitely. I'm one of those fans. Can you explain to us
Yes.
what the fictional universe, View Askewniverse, is about? So
long ago when we started making these movies, we made Clerks, and you know, it was a standalone little independent film shot for like $27,000 in suburban New Jersey. After that, we made a movie called Mallrats with Universal, and that was like a $5 million movie that, when it came out, like died at the box office, but now is kind of beloved. It aged insanely well. It aged like fine wine. That movie had, both movies, Clerks and Mallrats, shared the characters of Jay and Silent Bob. And references, like Mallrats had references to events that happened in Clerks and stuff. So when I started making the flicks, I started calling the flicks like, this is the View Askewniverse, because I was a big comic book fan. There was a DC universe, there was a Marvel universe. So I was like, this is the View Askewniverse, and all these movies are interconnected. So Jay and Silent Bob run through Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. They aggregated to their own movie, they were leads. Then Clerks 2, and then most recently, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which we did in 2019, and now the forthcoming Clerks 3. All of those movies are connected by the characters of Jay and Silent Bob. Some of the other characters, like Dante, who's the clerk in Clerks, has popped up in some of the other movies. They all take place in the same area, the central Jersey towns of Red Bank and Leonardo. in New Jersey, which are actual towns and stuff. So slowly over the years while I was making flicks, I built a universe, something that now everybody's like,
Yeah.
that's where the money is. Well, it's not. At least not the Views universe. I mean, enough money to like make me happy, but not enough to make like a big studio happy. But it was fun to do. And then when the Marvel universe exploded over the course of the last decade plus, people were like, hey man, they're doing what you did. You did it first, they owe you. And I was like, look, I stole my idea from Marvel Comics, so technically I owe them. They just stole back a very cool idea.
Did you finish your?
I did. I went. He's got. I got to go backwards baseball cap with him, but I look at him. He's a whimsical
He's great.
bear.
That
My friend
is
Malcolm Ingram, right there.
brilliant
That's who it is.
idea.
Malcolm, this pop is you.
Yeah.
This is how I see you. Hold on, close up. This is how I see you. Play both.
Shifting gears.
Yes.
What scares you?
Oof. Being irrelevant, which I'm told all the time on the internet. You're irrelevant. You can't express an opinion without somebody telling you how irrelevant you are on the internet. Yeah. And it's a triple worse for somebody if you've ever done something that has been noticed by other people or is high profile. Okay. So what they constantly do is throw, not your age, but the time you've been around in your face. Mm-hmm. So, to me, I'm like, well, that don't make sense. Like, if I've been here for 30 years, that must mean something.
Yeah.
Like, because I see a lot of people get kicked out of this business or just don't make it very far. So for somebody to be like, he's long in the tooth, he's been around forever, like this guy, he's not relevant anymore. It's like, if you're mentioning me, guess what? You just made me relevant.
Exactly.
And so the fear of irrelevancy, I think every artist has that, every entertainer, every person that fancies themselves a maker. So I've been around for a red hot minute, and early on when I first got on the internet, it was about interactivity with the audience. Somebody who bought a ticket to see Clerks, I was like, who are you?
Yeah.
Like, I gotta find out what's on your mind. Like, why'd you pick my movie as opposed to like, I don't know, Jurassic Park or some such shit? Mm-hmm. So I got way in touch with the audience online long before social media existed and kind of stayed with the audience. And like, we would have our own little film festivals and events and stuff. So, you hopefully, I get to keep doing this until I drop dead.
Yep.
Because am I gonna retire? Like, why would you retire from this job? Yeah. A job where it's like they make pops of you. It's like, it's so hard, I need a rest. Like, no, not at all.
So that was an honest answer, a very honest answer. And I think
That's
a
all I
lot
got.
a lot of your fans really connect with you because of your transparency and your health scare that I thought was way more recent. But
We just passed, in February, it was 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Did you switch your diet and everything
Instantly.
immediately?
Yeah, it was, I guess I didn't have to, but the way the doctor laid it out, like when I was in the hospital for like 36 hours, went into the ER, they took me to the OR, went to recovery, and then they let me out pretty much like the next day. So, when he came in, he was like, I hear we're releasing you. I was like, yeah. Isn't that great? He's going, no, it's bad. I said, why? And he goes, because look how fast that was. He's like, you're in and out with a major procedure in 36 hours. He's like, time was, we would have cracked your chest open, sawed your bones, and then it would have taken you 6 months to heal, and you would have known you went through something, and you would have changed your life. He's going, but you're going to stroll out of here so fast, and if you're like everybody else, you're probably going to forget and be like, well, that was easy. I could do that standing in my head. And he's like, but we get lucky once with the kind of heart attack you got. I had this thing called a widowmaker, which means the artery across your heart is completely full and stuff. And in 80% of the cases, the patient always dies. So he was like, you were in a 20% group. Like, you're already beating the odds. You might want to think about changing your life. And so my kid was vegan for 3 years at that point, and she was starting to sell me on being vegan. She was like, do it, one of us. And so I was like, wow, I ate any way I wanted for 47 years and nearly dropped dead. So fine, how about this? I'll try this veganism for like 2 months. And that was over 4 years ago. I've been pretty strict. Strict vegan indicates I eat a lot of vegetables. I just don't eat any meat or animal products whatsoever. I'm a dirty vegan, man. Okay. A lot of Beyond Burgers, a lot of Impossible Burgers and stuff like that.
Who chose your daughter's name?
I did. Well, I suggested, you know what, that's unfair. I can't take credit. My wife, Jennifer, we weren't married at this point, but she came to New Jersey. She moved to New Jersey. She was living in California. I met her out here. And when she got to my apartment, she was like, I'm gonna take a bath. I wanna read one of these comic books. Like, you got comic books everywhere. So what's a good comic book for me to read? I was torn because I was like, of course I wanted to read a comic book, but I'm like, in the bathtub? What are you, nuts? Like, why don't you light it on fire, dumbass? But I was just dating her, and I really wanted to impress her, so I didn't call her a dumbass. And I gave her a copy of Mad Love, written by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm, drawn by Bruce Timm. It was the first time that DC Comics brought the Harley Quinn character from the Batman the Animated Series into the comics continuity and stuff. So she read it in the tub, and I got a picture of her. I took a picture of her in the tub. Like, you can't see nothing, but she's in the tub under the water. She's got bubbles, and she's sitting there reading that book. And when she got out of the tub, she was just like, Harley Quinn is a great name. If we ever have a kid, we should name the kid Harley Quinn. And I was like, yeah, right, we should. And she got pregnant pretty quickly, and so the kid was always referred to as Harley Quinn. We desperately wanted her to be a girl just so it would fit the name. But we were prepared if it was a boy, we'd call him Charlie Quinn. Mercifully, it was a girl and stuff. And then I pushed for broke. And to be fair, in the hospital, when the kid was born, I actually saw the kid. She went from being a theoretical, like, oh, she's Harley, to like, this is what our kid looks like. Do we really want to saddle this kid with a name like Harley Quinn for the rest of her life? Like a gimmick name? Kids are cruel. What if they call her Harley Quinn and stuff like that? And Jennifer, God bless her, my wife, was like, she's not even a big comic book person, but she was like, that's a cool name. She's like, let's stick with it. Like, no, never mind other people. That's a really cool name. We've been calling this kid this from the beginning. And once it stuck, I was like, if we ever have a second kid, can we name him Batman? She was like, no. So we got one, Harley Quinn.
That's fantastic. You love animals.
I do love.
You go on hikes daily, right?
Almost daily. Like I did like 75 days in a row fairly recently, but now I've been going to conventions, so I go as daily as I can. If I'm out of town, there's no substitute hike. Although when I was in Philadelphia, I did hike to the art museum and went to run up the Rocky Stairs. Until I got to fourth step, and I was like, I ain't Sylvester Stallone. I can't do this. I just use the hand railing up.
You said bird. I was going to ask you about the little bird that you found.
I found a bird, and then there was a bird that I guess must have hit like the window upstairs, and he was laying on the pavement, and he looked like, I thought his wing was broken. I thought he was paralyzed, like, because you're in a car accident and stuff. This bird hitting the window at 90 miles per hour, got to be the same thing. So I kept him overnight, and he was alert and kind of freaking out because I could pick him up and stuff, and birds don't go for that. It was like a dove of sorts. And then the next day we called up the vet, and we're like, hey man, we got this bird, and he's like, bring it in. And he said he x-rayed the bird and the bird's wing's not broken. So he's like, I give him a cortisone shot. We're going to heal him up. In a world where I've got the means to be like, I'm sure this bird who's not my responsibility is going to cost us like upwards of $1,000. But it's like if you got it.
Share it.
Yeah, and I'm not a biblical person anymore and stuff. I made Dogma, but that was to get away from Catholicism. But I do believe there's a biblical passage that says whatever you give out comes back to you sevenfold. And I've found that over my lifetime that don't worry about it.
Yeah.
There's always more where that came from, if you're willing to generate it and stuff. And since I can talk, as long as I can talk, I'll be able to, turn a salary, I guess. That here, never mind irrelevancy. The big fear, losing my voice, because what the fuck, right? What use am I at that point? They're like, oh, look. Unless for a few people who are like, well, now he's back to Silent Bob. I guess I could keep playing silent. You know what? I'm set either way.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's irrelevancy. I'm going back to that answer. This is good therapy. I'm working stuff out here.
Exactly.
Some of my fears are getting put away.
Okay, best childhood gift.
Oh, best childhood gift. I got the AT-AT, the all-terrain armored transport from Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
The year that came out, that Christmas.
What motivates you?
What motivates me? It's easy at this point. What motivated me to get here in the first place was boy, I want people to hear me, and that hasn't changed. Self-expression is something that human beings get. Animals don't get it on this planet, man. We get to say what's on our minds, heads, and hearts and stuff. And I've had almost 3 decades of whenever I say something, there's somebody going right on, Kev. I love that.
Yeah.
So being heard in this life not a lot of people get that. Even the age of social media, like, some people get listened to, but they don't always get heard. And having somebody hear you and give a shit about what you're saying, and maybe it impacts them in some positive way. It makes them think about things a different way. It makes them laugh. That's how important entertainment is. And I'm not saying that I'm on a high horse of entertainment is the most important thing in the world, but that's why they overpay for it, because people need it desperately, as we just saw through most of the pandemic for the last few years. Yep. So if you're a storyteller and you can tell a story, there's always a place for you in this business.
Yeah.
It seems exclusive, but you got what they don't, I always tell people, which is the story that has never been told before. And shoot for that, man, because the stories that people want to tell who are outside of this business, they got fresh stuff. That's why people love youth. That's why they go picking through the Sundance Film Festival, because these kids, man, they'd kill or die to make some art. And some of the best entertainment you'll get in your life are people that are desperate to be seen and heard in the first place. The good news is I never lost that for me. It's an unfillable guff that you hopefully will keep me going, keep me ambitious enough until my grave, because it makes you do a bunch of different stuff. For example, for the first time ever this year back east in New Jersey at our little podcast theater, Smodcast, we're doing a film festival. So we've gotten close to 1,000 submissions and stuff like that. We're gonna build a full program. And just like I went to Sundance back in '94 with Clerks, somebody could come to our festival.
Can we talk about Funko Fun Days?
Yeah.
You guys did that.
Loved
Jason,
it. Funko Fun Days, for those that are unfamiliar and who watching this wouldn't be unfamiliar, but for the two people who are boo, Funko Fun Days at the San Diego Comic-Con is when you go to this location, they take over this gigantic ballroom. And honestly, this is the loudest I think I've ever been at a single point decibel level. I've heard that one of the loudest manufactured noises that humans can make is every Chicago Blackhawks game when they do the national anthem.
Yeah.
And then they get to the land of the free and everybody goes crazy. You could hear it from space. Same thing with Funko Fun Days. I've never been at the epicenter of so much sound. You walk out on the stage and it's based on, me and Jay went out there as a giant catwalk, and you're like, who wants these? And you're giving it to the loudest corner of the room. So they're all out screaming each other and essentially screaming right at you. It's like being surrounded by sound that you could feel. It was insane, but such a fun, fan-fueled event. The fervor in the room, the passion for the product, for the lifestyle was astounding. Inspiring, to say the least. I was like, I got some ardent fans, but geez, man, this is nuts.
Yeah, our fans are passionate.
Very passionate.
So we are going to move into rapid fire questions.
As you can see, there's no such thing as a rapid fire answer. You could try.
We're gonna try.
There may be rapid fire questions, but there probably would be well thought out, long responses.
Okay. If you were a superhero, what would your power be?
Yeah, let me see. What would be good for people? Oh, superpower of reasonability. That'd be good to have in a situation. You got two people who are unreasonable. That's a supervillain, is just somebody who's extremely unreasonable.
Yes.
If I had the power to be whomp, and make that
Yes.
person reasonable,
Oh my gosh.
conflict, not a single punch gets thrown.
Yep.
I'm a lover,
Okay.
not a fighter.
Biggest boyhood crush.
Carrie Fisher. Didn't even have to think about that.
Okay, love that.
Hands down.
Most surprising karaoke song.
Creep.
Okay, dream destination.
Dream destination is home. I like my house, and I always dream about going home. There's no place I can really think of that I'm like, man, I would like to go there. There's one place left that, I'm like, oh, sooner or later before I die, I'd like to visit that. Battle Creek, Michigan, where they make the cereal.
Next question. Favorite breakfast cereal.
Oh my God. I was raised on this kind of stuff. And that's why I hear they got the Saturday morning room
Yes.
with the Captain Crunch display.
Amazing.
And the Frankenberry,
Yep.
Count Chocula. Frankenberry, hands down, my all-time favorite pre-sweetened cereal.
Nice.
And if you ask me what my favorite unsweetened cereal is, why the f would I eat an unsweetened cereal? What are you, out of your mind? They put sugar out for a reason.
Favorite ride at Disneyland?
Favorite ride at Disneyland? Let's see. You know, Pirates of the Caribbean is like overexposed at this point. You know what? Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
Classic, still works, got a good sense of humor, and it's macabre as hell. You know, you go there as a child and they're making jokes about like, there's room for one more, and they show you a dude hanging.
Favorite cartoon growing up?
Favorite cartoon growing up was Rocky and Bullwinkle show.
Love Rocky and Bullwinkle. Pool or beach?
The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, I should say.
Yes.
Pool or beach? Neither, but pool. I have a pool. Beach, I grew up at the beach, in a beach town. But I grew up in a beach town after seeing Jaws at age 5. So,
Pool.
thank you, Spielberg.
First record you bought?
First record I stole was from my uncle. It was Remain in Light by the Talking Heads. First record I bought, yeah, I think it's Run DMC, Raising Hell.
Okay, last question.
Yeah.
Canadian chocolate bars or American chocolate bars?
Canadian glazette chocolate covered peanuts back in the day, all day, pre-vegan.
Right.
Being a vegan now, American, Canadian, it's all the same. I can't eat it. It's all milk chocolate. You make dark chocolate, I could eat that.
Kevin Smith, it's been such a pleasure.
Absolute pleasure.
So
Talking to a fellow
excited.
Canadian. Let's just keep that rumor going.
Funko royalty here.